Hello Steelers, and get ready to chocks away because we've got some Malaya Mayhem today. This is going to be a game of Bag the Hun. I've not played it for a while. It's been packed away because I've been playing a lot of algae when it's come to the air war. However, relatively recently I got myself a ton of 1/600 scale aircraft for Malaya, specifically for the Malaya campaign. So these are the Royal Air Force, Royal Australian Air Force. So Buffaloes and Hurricanes and Blenheims and that kind of thing, against a load of Japanese aircraft as well. So, for example, the Bettys, the G4M Bettys, the KI-47s, whichever they are, the Oscars, Nates, you name it, I've got loads. And if you've been watching my relatively recent hobby updates, you've probably been seeing some of those coming out as well as I've been painting. And I just thought, I've been painting these, so let's get a game going. And I wanted to do a bit of a bigger game of Bag the Hun, because the previous ones, when I was playing in 1/300, I only had a small amount of aircraft on either side, so it was only about 4 or so on each side, whereas here I'm able to field up to 12. So 12 Hurricanes if I wanted to. In this game I'm only going to be using 8, but you know, we've got 6 Bettys and I've also got 3 Oscars as well, which will turn up at some point in the game. This is set just after the Hurricanes have actually landed in Singapore. Well, they were all crated up and then they were put together and then sent straight out into action as quick as they could. These actually came in their desert camo schemes because they were supposed to be for the Mediterranean theatre of operations. But they ended up getting diverted out to Malaya, so they were fighting in there. It was quite short-lived for them though. They're the tropical version as well. It's the Mark 1B, the tropical, with a big air intake underneath. And in this scenario, we've got 6 Bettys just flying out to go and do a bombing run on Singapore, and the 2 flights of Hurricanes we've got here are just about to intercept them. I've also got, as I say, the Oscars. They are going to turn up at some point as well. They will arrive when the reinforcements card is drawn, but I'll tell you about that when I go through the cards themselves. So what I'll do is I'll show you the cards of the games, the planes that we're using, show you the 2 different sides and what they are and what they're built up of. So that'll give you a bit of an idea of the size of the game as well. And as I say, I wanted this one to be a little bit bigger than what I've played previously, so it should be quite a lot of mayhem and hopefully a lot of fun as well, and hopefully a lot of fun for you to watch as well, because this is such a good game, Bag the Hun. And as I say, I've not played it for a long time and I've kind of forgotten how good it is, and hopefully this game will be equally as fun. So these are our lantern-jawed lads from the RAF. These are the fellas in their new, brand new Mark 1B Tropical Hurricanes, as you can see here. So we've got red flight, 4 of those guys. They're coming in a finger 4 formation as they're just starting to develop this. And then we've got, this is blue flight as well over here. Each of these planes are, well, led by a major. I got the names really from a 1940s name generator that I found online. So we've got David Lang, Major David Lang. He's a veteran. He's leading Red Flight. We've got Captain Carl Rowe. He's another veteran. He's his wing command. He's wingman, and he is also a character as well. We've also got Francis Merrill, Lieutenant Francis Merrill. He's a veteran, and then we've also got Captain Ernest Holcomb, and he is a sprog, so he's new, even though he's a captain. He's new to the whole game. Then over here as well, we've got Major John Clark. He is a junior ace. This is the flight leader of Blue. His wingman over here is number 6. This is Lieutenant Mel Burke. He's a sprog, so again he's just pretty much first time in the aircraft for him. And then we've got over here Lieutenant Dave Bullock. He's a veteran. And then finally his wingman is Captain Gil Schaffer, and another sprog as well. So a couple of captains who are sprogs in there. So quite a mix of them. There's no major aces in the British side, just those top aces. Sorry, junior ace. Sorry, John Clark here. So he's going to get an extra card in his deck when he moves, so he can move and fire on that if he wants to. Right, let's have a look over at the Japanese. So these are the Dastardly Japanese, the 6 bombers, the Bettys, the G4M2 Bettys. These are heading over to Singapore to do some damage over there. We've got quite a few of them, so only one of them is a veteran. No, 2 of them, sorry, are veterans. So number 1 and number 4. But we've also got a Sprog in here, number 6 as well. All the other 3 are regular pilots, so reasonable mix of people in there. You can give, if you want to, you can pause the video and have a look at the stats for the aircraft if you really want to see those. But then also over here, they're ready and waiting. We've got the Nakajima Ki-43 Oscars. These will turn up at some point. With these is led by Mifune, Toshima Mifune is the top ace. We've got Akira Kurosawa, he's regular, and then we've got Akira Nakai, he's another regular as well. These are, there's only 3 of these, but they are going to appear, and they will appear on the reinforcements card. I've got a card deck here. I've got there, although it's a Schwarm, it's because I'm using German cards. Unfortunately, I don't have any Japanese cards at this point, so I'm just using the German ones that I've got for the Battle of Britain. So this is their Schwarm Move and Fire cards, so they will go into the deck when this happens. I'll just show you through the cards. We've got British Blue Section Move and Fire. We've got the Allied Junior Ace bonus, the Allied Character, which I've already mentioned him, Red Section Fire, Red Section Move, the Allied Formation bonus, a bailout card for everybody, altitude bonus of course. Then we've got the German Keta move, well, Japanese Keta move in this case, so it's, this is the bombers. Then we've got the Keta Führer. Then we've got the German reinforcements. I'll just keep that to one side and tell you. We've got German air gunners. I'm going to need to put another German air gunner card in here because for every 4 rounded up, you put a card in. So I've got 6, so I should put another one in. German formation bonus and the German top ace bonus, which is Toshima Mifune. The German reinforcements card, this is the important one because this is going to be the one for the Japanese arrivals. I keep saying German, it's not, it's Japanese. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to stick this into the deck, and when it gets drawn 4 times, I will then immediately shuffle in the German deck, the Schwarm, the section deck for these guys into the whatever is left in that turn. So it could be that, you know, perhaps it comes out as the last card of that turn, then it will get shuffled into the next turn. However, it could be, you know, early on in the turn, so it might be like third card out or 4th card out, for example, and then it'll get shuffled in with these, so they will turn up at that point. I'm adding a little, so it's adding a little bit of unknowability as to when the reinforcements will come. We know they're going to come at least on turn, well, by turn 5 they will be here. But they may arrive in turn 4, they may arrive in turn 5, depending on, as I say, when the card is actually pulled out of the deck. So I thought that's probably the best way of doing it. If in Bag the Hun you play all the way through all of the cards, there's no like Tiffin deck or tea break card or time for a snifter card in Bag the Hun, so it doesn't really work like that. Because otherwise what I would have done is with the 4th time I pulled it, then they would arrive. But that could be, you know, 8 turns in if their card isn't pulled before the Tiffin card. So I thought this is probably a better way of doing it. If you're halfway through the deck, they will then appear at some point in that deck. So it's still a little bit of an unknowability. And as I say, it's the 4th time that that deck is pulled. Right, I shall just quickly show you the formations on the table. Very quickly, because you'll see them anyway as part of the game, and then we'll get this party started, I think. So over here we have our plucky boys from the RAF. So we've got the 2 finger 4 formations. As I said, these are coming in basically from this edge of this table over here, and then over on the other side we've got the Bettys. I don't know if you can see those yet. It's kind of they are very small, but they are there. So you can see the Bettys coming in formation on the other side as well. What I'm going to do when the Oscars appear, I'm going to roll to see which table edge they arrive on. I'll probably just roll a d4 and that will give us an idea. So quite a big open space. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to move, as the aircraft, the Bettys move forward, I'm actually going to shift everything a long ways. But that depends if there's, say, for example, an aircraft, a Hurricane or something at the other end of the table while a Betty is on this end of the table. If I can't shift it without losing the aircraft that's at the back, then that Betty will escape. So I just thought that's a way of them getting away. So if the Oscars can tie up the the Hurricanes down at the back end of the table while the Bettys escape. I think that's a good way of representing it. So yeah, we're going to keep the table will move every so often whenever it needs to. Okay, folks, straight up we're into turn 1. So I'll just give these first cards a good old shuffle up there. Let's see what we get first of all. Number 1. German reinforcements. Okay, so as I say, this is turn 1, so on turn 4 I would then have shuffled in the Oscars into this, but as it is, it's only turn 1, so we're all right in the moment. So next up, okay, this is Keta 2 Führer, so this is the lead of the Sallies, sorry, Bettys. If he plays this now, he will, it's basically a character card. So it will negate his, it will only basically be him moving on his own, so he's not going to, because that will break formation. So we're going to go on a little bit. Tiny's joined us. Altitude bonus. Okay, we've got the, we've actually got a formation of Hurricanes in at level 5 up against those Bettys. So I'm going to move those, and they're going to take that altitude bonus in the first instance. So the altitude bonus is going to go to these guys. So this is red section. So we roll our dice. We've got a 1. They've got a speed of 7, so that becomes an 8. What I'm wanting to do is get these across the table and to come round to hit the left flank of the bombers, while the other ones are going to go and take on the right flank. So I want you to move these across the table here. So actually all they're going to do is just fly forward 8. So the way it works in Bag the Hunt is you move your section leader, in this case number 1, and then everybody else conforms to him, because they're still in that finger 4. So even if he turned round, they would just conform to him. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he gets to here. Meow, dives in there. Got to make the noise, daka daka daka, and then he is also joined here by the rest. So that is first turn. That's basically how they move, to be honest. That's nice and easy. Then next up we have German formation bonus. I shouldn't have actually put this in earlier on, because these Bettys are actually a size 5 and they don't get the bonus if you're 4 or 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that out until the other ones come in. German top ace, again, he's not actually in here as well, so I'm just going to thin this card. I should have sorted these cards out before I started the game, shouldn't I? But never mind. So, Keta 1 move. Okay, so finally the Bettys get an actual move. So, they are just going to push forward, I think. So, nice and simple. He's got a speed 5, so that gives them a 4, so that gives them 9. They're just going to go forward in a formation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, once again, our Keta leader gets to here. Shock eye leader, I suppose he is, not really a Keta leader, and everybody else will just conform to it. So these are just going to, as I say, these are just going to make their slow way across down to Singapore to do some bombing of the oil refineries there. Next card up then is Allied Junior Ace bonus. Okay, this is blue leader, so he could, if he moves on this, he could move with his section. But then they won't get to move on their section card. I think he's going to. Mind you, the only other thing that can happen at the moment is the Keta, well, the Japanese can't move because they've already done their thing. But yes, he's going to use this card just to move his section, I think. So this is a section here, so as I say, if their section card now comes up, they can't move. This would normally be a bonus move for him on his own, or for a section he's with. The section then don't get to move afterwards, but I want to get them into action. These are going to try to get around to the right side, starboard side I suppose, of the bombers. So we've got your man here, he is number 5. This is our junior ace. He's got a speed of 7, we've just got a 2, so that is 9. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then turn facing this way here. So this is how formations change, so it's going to be a simple turn there. But because everybody else stays in formation, they don't move individually, they do move as part of his move as well. So they will now be like that. So what they're going to do is then probably jink around and come round that side if they can. Next up then is red section move. There you go, that was the red section. They have already moved, oh, well, they actually moved on the, that was on the altitude bonus, wasn't it? So they will actually get another move because the bonus was a bonus move. So I'm going to move them again and again try to get them into a good position around these bombers. So this is red section here, so as I say, they are going to get another move. So 7 plus 3 is 10. These are just going to speed forward, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once again, we're following that leader. So he goes in there. Everybody else jumps in with him. Nice and simple at the moment. Next card up is blue section move. Blue have already moved on their junior ace bonus, so the section can't move. This would normally, if they've broken formation, then the rest of the section would then be able to move at this point, but they haven't, so they can't. So then next up we got bail out. Bail out is if anybody needs to bail out. Junior aces, aces and characters can bail out on their card as well, but also this is the bailout card for anybody who needs to, so it's like a bit of a bonus. Nobody needs to at this point, I don't think. Blue section fire. There is no range in Bag the Hun, so there's no minimum range, no maximum range. You can fire at anything as long as you can see it on the table, and you can see everything pretty much on this table, but anything over about 4 or 5 hexes away, there's just no point. It's a waste of ammunition, so we're going to ignore that. Even if, blue section, actually, they can't even fire anyway, so there's nothing in front of them. Red section, same again, nothing in front of them anyway, so they can't fire. Allied formation bonus. Now here we have another bonus card. So this is a move for any formation that is in a recognisable formation. So what I'm going to do is probably I'm going to get that blue section to move, I think, on this, because they're recognisable. And I'm probably going to get them to climb as well, I think. So the formation, Allied formation bonus is going to go to these guys here. As I said, I could have given it to them because it's a bonus, it doesn't matter, but I want to give it to these. I wanted to get these up 1 level higher. They're currently on 3 and the Bettys over there are on 4. So what we're going to do, it's a bonus, so you don't have to use it if you don't want to. You can see the Bettys right up the back here. It's a bonus, you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but I want to because I want to get them into a good position on the rear of these bombers before we start hacking them up, I think. So we roll for our speed. We're doing a 3 plus 7, so that's 10. We're going to go up 1. So the way this works is we literally just go up 1, move forward 1, but that takes off 3 speed, so they still have 7 left. If they do anything more than a tricky manoeuvre, we're going to have to do some manoeuvre tests, but I'm not going to. Sorry, an easy manoeuvre, then I'm not going to. I'm just going to do some very normal moving. So we're going to go. So we've already used up 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is it right turn to turn? 9, and I think 10, like that. So then once again, still in that finger 4 formation, so we bring these guys up, put them all up onto 4 now. So they're now at the same height as the Bettys. You have to be in the same height band to be able to fire at them. I want to keep those ones on the left hand side, red section, 1 height higher, because they will then get that altitude bonus, which is always a useful card. It goes to whoever is the highest level at that time. Right, let's see what next up is. It is German air gunners, Japanese air gunners. I should cross it out. Again, once again, these could fire, but we're too far away. It's a waste of ammunition. There's literally no point doing it. German air gunners again, so that's the Japanese air gunners. So that means again, once again, they are too far away. So I'm just going to ignore that. Then finally, Allied Character 1. So this is once again a bonus move for our Allied character. So this is Carl Rowe, the veteran. He's number 2. He's already moved. He's already done all the things he can do. This is kind of a bonus thing if he's on his own, so it comes up beforehand. So he's not the section leader, so he basically can't do much with that at this point. So it would be a move or fire if he was separate from his section, or if he was just on his own with a wingman, and then it's obviously very useful. But right now, doesn't need it. So let's have a look. So we're going to give that deck of cards another shuffle and start turn 2. So this is turn 2 now. So just got to keep a memory of that. Allied formation bonus. So once again we get another formation bonus for the Allies. Who's it going to be? I think this time I'm going to use this one for Red Section, because they are currently, they're not lagging behind, but I want to get them into a good position, I think. So Red Section are going to take the Allied formation bonus. So these guys are currently at 5. I want them to drop down to 4. So basically that's going to give them a free bonus. I'm not too fussed if they're on the same level as the Japanese planes, because these have a higher manoeuvrability, which means they will then get the altitude bonus as well. So we basically drop down 1, so that gives them 1 free move forward, and then we see what speed we're at. Well, 1 plus 7 is 8, so I think they're just going to go forward to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 to here. So I want to cut across the path of those Bettys before they actually do anything, and then as before, once again we get in with the back into the formation, the finger 4 formation. There you go, that brings them all up, and they are all now on level 4. Hopefully they're going to get in before the Oscars arrive on the table. Then our next card is German reinforcements. So second time this is pulled, and as I say, if it was turn 4, I would then shuffle this with the other Japanese cards into that deck. It isn't, so we'll crack on. Right, Ketetsu Führer. This is the guy on his own. If he breaks off, then he can use this card as a bonus to move, but he can't drag along his aircraft with him on this one, so I'm going to ignore that. It is the Allied Junior Ace bonus, so once again we do get that bonus for Red Section. Sorry, no, this is for Blue Section. So they're going to take it now, before it gets the chance, before the Bettys get a chance to move, I think. So as we said, this is Junior Ace over here, number 5. Once again to try to get in behind the Bettys here, while the other ones are cutting in front of them and going round. So let's have a look. We got a 3, so that's 7. They're on the right height that they want to be on. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think they're just going to move forward, because those Bettys are just going to keep moving forward as well. They're going to trundle on. So sorry, that's 7 plus 3. So that's 10. Sorry, so I've got another 3. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I'm just going to jump forward to there with both of those. And then they are going to break off in a bit, because you don't want to be attacking from the front if they can avoid it. They want to be round the back coming in, although the Bettys do have quite a high fire factor from the rear, but better that than diving over from the front, I think. Next up we have Japanese air gunners. See, I remembered this time. Again, too far away to actually do any damage, so there's literally no point in firing. Next card, Red Section Fire. Red Section has got nobody in their front arc to fire. There's no point. Next up, altitude bonus. So, as I said before, they are all now on the same altitude. They're all on 4, but the Bettys have got a manoeuvrability of 1, whereas the Hurricanes obviously have got a much higher manoeuvrability. They've got a 5. So it basically means that the manoeuvrability trumps the altitude. So the Hurricanes will get a bonus move, and I'm going to move Red Section with this. These are the ones on the starboard flank, but the port flank for the bombers. So this is Red Section over here, and give it a roll. It's a 1, so that gives them a speed of 8. So they're going to come. They still need to get quite a way across the Bettys at this point, so I'm going to have to just move them forward, I think. Stop Tiny playing with those dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So they're just going to come to there. Get rid of Tiny, because she's taking an interest in the Hurricanes. Who can blame her, to be fair. At some point these may actually break into 2 pairs, but right now, just to add a little bit of manoeuvrability to them, but right now I'm keeping them together as that finger 4, just so they can move together. Next card, Japanese air gunners. Again, we are just too far away. Maybe a couple more turns and there might actually be a bit of firing action, but right now, too far away. So, we're going to go move on. It is the Keta 1 move, so this is the Bettys, the Keta Betty. They're going to move, so again, they are just going to trundle forward, but let's see where they get to. So the Bettys have got a speed 5 plus a 2, so that's 7, and they are just going to plough straight forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to there. Just put that in to remind me. And again, they are still in that formation. So I'm just going to move everybody up to conform with our leader. What the Hurricanes are going to want to do is try to break this formation and break off at least 1 or 2 of these Bettys so they can get on them individually, because currently there's going to be a lot of firing coming from their guns otherwise. Next up, it is Allied Character 1, okay, so that's Caro. He can't do anything because I think his section's already moved, but he doesn't want to do anything anyway. It's kind of like a fire or a spot for him. Red section move, okay, has Red section moved? I can't remember if they moved on a bonus. I think they might have gone in, they only gone on a bonus, haven't they? If I remember, the Junior Ace bonus was not for them, that was for Blue section. So yeah, they've only gone on the bonus, so this is their actual move now, so that's good. So we've got Red section down here. Still not yet ready to split off into 2s, but I want to get them again around onto that back end of those bombers for now. So we've got 2 plus their 7, so we've got these a 9 speed. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are just, as I say, at the moment it's all about manoeuvring this game. If you just pile in and then just overshoot them from the front, you're just going to waste ammunition. So there's absolutely no point them firing or doing anything until they get into a very good position. Then our next card then is it's Blue section move. They actually moved on their Junior Ace card, so they can't move. And forgotten bailout. Nobody's wanting to bail out just yet. And Blue section fire. Potentially they could fire, but I think it's just far too far away at this point. There is 1 bomber well, not in range, but in line of sight, but it's just going to be like they're going to be rolling 1 dice, so there's literally no point them doing anything with that. So we're just going to go, this is now turn 3. So we're getting to the point where the Oscars may turn up, but again, what I'm hoping here for is the Hurricanes to be able to get into a position where they can at least start to break up that bomber formation. That's what they're going to try to do this turn as much as possible, and that means just basically getting in amongst them and cutting them up, I think. But let's see if we can do it. So we can hopefully use some of those formation bonuses and altitude bonuses. This is the Keta Fuhrer. So once again, he is on his own. That would be a bonus fire, but or a bonus move. But if he moved now, he would just move on his own. He's not going to take the formation with him. There we go, an allied formation bonus. So I've got to decide which one it's going to be. Is it going to be blue or red sections? Let me have a little think about this. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to split blue formation into 2 separate sections here, and they're going to split into 2. So I'm going to take the first one. They're going to be playing, because they're still in formation, they're going to roll on the same dice, but then they're going to split. So the first, so actually they're all moving at 9 for this turn, and then we're just going to break them off. So we've got 5 and 6 with his wingman. So should we just pile them forward and then at least try to shoot at that Betty? It's not going to be a great shot, but at least then he can pass over him while the others come in behind, I think. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So that will bring our section leader number 5 into there. So that is, who's that? He's our Junior Ace. His card hasn't come up yet this turn, so if I can at least get him into a position where he might be able to fire his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away from that Betty. It's still a bit of a long shot, but we'll see. And now these 2 are going to break off, and these are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and then that will bring him in there. So now on their card they will both move, but they will move separately, so I'll be rolling for them separately. So next up it is Allied Junior Ace bonus. Okay. This basically is, well, that's number 5. He's actually in a really good position now to fire at the leading Japanese aircraft. I think he's going to, because he can't move with this. He could move with it beforehand, but it's he's already moved as his formation, so I can't get him to do anything with it at the moment. But he can fire, and that is probably what he's going to do, I think. Actually, what I'm doing is the firing is not going to be great because he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 away. He can actually move the formation he's with, so he's number 5 here, because they haven't moved on their card yet. So they moved on a bonus formation bonus card, so he hasn't moved them. So he is going to actually move because he's got a sprog with him. I'm not going to do any major crazy manoeuvres because it might throw a sprog off. What he wants to do is try to get past the bomber formation if he can. He's got a speed of 7, so he could potentially get to around about here-ish. He puts on a little bit of danger because of the guns on the bombers, or we might just come in and then just go through the bombers themselves. But right now I think, well, I could even just come down the side of them. I think that's probably what he's going to do. That's more likely what he's going to do. These are the choices that he's got, so he could just pile forward. I don't think that's going to put him in a great position, so what I'm going to try to do is get him up here, I think, to come in and around behind the bombers if we can. So it's going to be a relatively simple manoeuvre here. So we've got a 3 plus his 7, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, so a basic move, basic easy turn, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then 10 to there, and then that's going to put the sprog in with him. As I say, they are now in range of the Japanese guns, rear firing guns, if they do fire at them, which they probably will do unless we get another bonus, and then I could potentially use that to get him in behind those as well. Okay, next up then we have German reinforcement, Japanese reinforcements. So turn 3, next turn. Again, we've been through this twice, I don't need to tell you again. It's the Keta 1 move, so this is the Betis. They are once again just going to move forward, I think, just keeping in that formation and just keep going because they just need to get off that table if they can. So this is a simple one for the Betis. They have speed of 5 plus 4, so that gives them 9. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they're obviously trying to floor it. There's a race on to get down to Singapore, obviously. So let's just quickly bring these up, make sure they're in the right place for the formation. That kind of worked out pretty well for the Hurricanes at least. I'll just get the rest of those brought up. Then our next card is Bailout. There's nobody wanting to bail out at the moment. Then we are German air gunners, well, Japanese air gunners. That would have been better before their move card. They are too far away. They've obviously just spotted the Hurricanes and are now frantically trying to get a bead on them. They can't. I'm not going to fire with them because it's just going to be completely ineffective. You want to be at least 4 or 5 hexes away before you're doing any damage. Altitude bonus, right? Okay, so right. Well, I think I'm going to give that actually to our junior ace again, because he's in a really good position to try to snap in behind those Betis. So that's what I'm going to do. I was just looking if there was any movements that the Hurricane could do to get in behind the Betis, but there isn't without throwing his sprog off. So I don't really want to do that at the moment. So I'm just going to do a couple of easy manoeuvres just to get in behind somebody. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone that's trailing behind. Number 6 is actually a sprog, so it might be worthwhile going for him, I think. Let's have a look. We've got a 1 anyway, so this is our man, and our fella is on the left. I just got to remember that. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. He said he's on his left, so our sprog will come in here. There's quite a distance between these and the Betis at the moment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But the speed of the Hurricane should be able to get them in. And now we've actually got the ace. He's in a good position to be able to get on the tail of this sprog Betty at the back here. Try and break that formation up if they can. So our next card then is German air gunners. Once again, they are just too far away. I think they're at over extreme range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, if they're over extreme range, they get -3 on their firing dice. They're only starting with 4 anyway. It's going to be pretty low, so there's no point bothering because it's just it's a waste of time at this point. Red section fire though. Red section are not in a position to fire. They're still buzzing around at the bottom to get into position. Blue section move. Okay, so unfortunately we've already moved with our ace but the previous card was a bonus for blue formation. So we do have the other two aircraft from blue formation, blue section, who can go. That's Dave Bullock and Gil Schaffer. Those two could potentially do a turn and get in on those betties as well, I think. So this is the remainder of blue section that can move. This number 7 is a leader here in this formation with 8 is wingman. So let's see, we've got a 3, so that gives them 10. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I think I'm going to go there 10 instead. And he was on his right hand side, so just put him in formation with him. So wingman, neither of them, oh no, he could fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 away. It's not going to be a great shot, so but they are now in a great position to actually start moving in on those betties, and again, as I say, breaking up their formation if nothing else. Next card then is Allied Character 1. No, he doesn't want to do anything because he's still part of a formation, so he can't do a great deal anyway, so we'll just carry on. Blue section fire. Okay, this is blue section. Again, I don't want to waste ammunition. They're too far away. They could potentially fire with their ace, but I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm going to leave them to it. And our final card for this turn, turn 3, is red section move. So this is our guys down here. So let's see if they can also get into a good position onto those bombers as well. So red section is here. This is the first time they've moved this turn. They are basically, they're flying cover at the moment, because they are now in attack position and ready to go. Blue section is ready to go, red section is now flying cover. So let's just see what they got. So they've got an 11 speed. So I just want to get these around and get them ready to do wave attacks basically on these betties, and let blue section get in first and then bring these in as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So I'm just going to put my dice there just so I know where it's coming to. And again, you know, we're aware that there may be some, well, next turn there is definitely going to be some Oscars turning up, so it might be that red section goes and deals with them, since that blue section are pretty set on their attack run at this point. Right, so turn 4, so this is, as I said, this is when the Oscars are going to turn up now, and they will appear whenever the German reinforcements cards comes out, and I'll just shuffle them into the back end of the deck. So they may suddenly appear, or they may not appear until the end of the very end of the turn. We'll see. First card, bailouts. Nobody wants to bail out yet, not even the betties who are feeling the pressure. Allied formation bonus. Right, that is perfect, I think, probably for that junior ace to get on the tail of that Sprog Betty. So I'm going to use that for him to get in and as close as he can, and then hopefully get on the tail. So we'll see a getting on the tail test as well, hopefully. So first of all, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 away. He wants to be probably around about here because he's faster than the bomber, and he wants to be in at least, when he gets on the tail, he's going to, the speed will, the difference in the speed increases the amount of space between them. So what I mean is, he's doing a speed 7 minimum, he's doing a speed 5 minimum, so he will always gain 2 hexes on them. So basically it wants to get to about here. He's a junior ace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need a 2. He's a junior ace, so he can actually set his speed up to this speed he wants to. So we're going to try that. 4, so he can set it up to that speed. So he's setting it up to 2 to there to bring him in. That will then put him on the tail. Well, he's in a position to get on the tail. I've actually looked down the list of what you normally do is you roll the dice. 4 up, you get on the tail. There's a lot of modifiers, ups and downs. He's literally, because this is, I'll read it out to you because it makes it a bit easier. So first of all, the attacker is a junior ace, +2 straight away. The attacker is Let's have a look. Attacker has a wingman. Yes, he does. So that's another +1. So that takes it +3. Attacker has a higher manoeuvrability rating. Yes, he does. So that's another +1. So that's +4. The defender is a sprog. Yes, it is. So that's another +1. +5. And that's, well, there is a live gunner covering the approach. So that's a -1. So it's still a +4. And that's it. He needs a 4 up on a d6. I mean, we could just roll it just for theatre. Let's just see. 5 + 4 is a 9. Yes, he's passed it. So he's on the tail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a marker down to show that our man is now on the tail. So when his junior ace card comes up, or his section fire card comes up, he can then burst into that. Obviously they are in quite a dangerous position because there's at least 3 guns trained on them from that rear area. But you know, this is how you bring bombers down. Right, next card up is Allied Character 1. He's still in formation with the rest of his gang, so he's not going to do anything this turn. There's nothing he can fire at or anything. Unfortunately for him, I don't think there is. No, there's nothing in his line. Just a blue section fire. Right, that's our junior ace in the perfect position to rain some death on that Betty. So let's get that done. Right, I'm not going to do this for every shot, I'm just going to calculate them off the table, but first of all I'm going to do it because this is the first time that somebody is shot in the game. I'm going to show you how the the mechanics for the firing goes. So so basically the base fire factor is the FF of the aircraft record sheet, and for our Hurricanes the FF is from the front an 8. So they're basically starting with 8 dice, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Then we decide, what are we doing? Do we do a squirt, a short burst, a burst, or a long burst? Given where they are in relation to the aircraft that they're attacking, they get a choice on it. So if they're coming from the front, it's a squirt. If they're coming in from the side or the rear, you can go up to a long burst. So perfect position. Let's just get rid of this thing. We're going to fire a full long burst. So that's another 4 dice on top of the 8s that we've got. The firer is also on the tail, so that's another 2 dice he's got as well. And then we go. We check what range we're at. If we're dead close, we get more. We're not, but that's 2 hexes away. He's actually 3 away, so he's at pretty much the average distance. If he was further, he would be minusing dice. Now the size of the target per rating over 1. This has a size of 5, so that's another 4 dice. So we start. I'm probably going to run out of dice here. Target isn't jinking. The fire isn't a sprog. The fire is a junior ace, so that is another dice on top of that. The fire has a wingman, so that is yet another dice on top of that. And is there anything else on here? We've got fire as top ace, no. Fire as wingman. Pilot or firing plane is wounded. USN firing deflection shot now. Attacking from out of the sun. I haven't marked the sun in this game. I decided it's cloudy overhead, so there's no sun. So that's sorted that out. So basically that's it. So we've got about 20 dice in total. It's probably as many as you're going to get unless you were a bit closer. So they're hitting on 5s and 6s. But let's work out the defenders' modifiers first of all. So we take their current manoeuvrability, so that's 1 dice, and then we add 1d6 for each hex of range between the fire and the target, and the minimum is also always 1, so there's 3 between the two, so that's added 3 onto there. Defender's luck is a sprog, so he takes 1 dice off, and that's it. So we roll all these. 5s and 6s are hits, 5s and 6s are saves, and then we check what the net result is for both of them. So we'll roll them all together, we'll pull out the 5s and 6s and see what happens with that. We also need 1s as well, because that is for gun jams and also for ammunition expenditure. So we're going to take out the 5s, the 5s, the 5s. Just use these up 1 second. Because I've been playing a lot of algae more recently, I've kind of half forgotten most of these rules, but they are coming back to me. So we've got 1, a 2 and 3 1s. Oh dear, this is not looking good. We've got 2 5s, so 2 saves. We've got 1, 2, that was a 5, knocked it over, so we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is why you use your aces with wingmen on the rear, on the tail, to get in and do some damage on the enemy aircraft. Let me just shift that so you can see the things, the amount we've got here. So let me just check. First of all, for every shot, increase the number of ones by 2 for each burst. If the fire is firing a long burst, yes, we were. So we increased those 2s by 1. So let's just put those at 1 and 1. So that becomes 5 in total. However, reduce the number of 1s by 1 for each burst if the firer is a junior or top ace and the fire is on the tail. So we can take those back off again. So it's 3. Gun jams. If there are more 1s than 5s and 6s combined, then the guns have jammed and the number of hits achieved is half. No, there isn't. There's 3. However, we then use up 3 ammunition on our junior ace captain. So he's got 14 ammo, so he's all right at the moment. But first burst is basically just taking that out. Then we move on to the damage. So we've got net hits of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, minus 2, so that's a net hit of 9. So we then check the target's robustness, and we've got a robustness of 4, and that is, with 9 hits against 4, is an EC, which is extra critical damage. So that's not good, is it? So then what we do is we roll a d10 to see what the extra critical damage is on that Betty, and this is a multi-engined aircraft, so we just roll the dice. What do we got? A 1. This is fuel line damage, and fuel line damage is an extra +3 on the damage the next time the aircraft is hit. Speed is reduced to basic only, so it doesn't get a d4. An aircraft with a star marked against the robustness must test for fire, and they do have a star against their robustness, so we've got to test for fire. So that's 13.11. Let me just double check that in the rules. So he's a Sprog, and basically he's on fire, so he's going to descend an altitude band, and then on subsequent movement turns he rolls a d6 and tests to see what happens to the fire itself. If he gets a 1 or less, it explodes. So he will descend. I'll set that up. He descends. I'm going to make a mark of the damage on his card so we know what's happening with him. The junior ace is on his tail, so he's going to descend a band with him because he's on his tail. So whatever the Sprog does, he can do as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep with him until he's gone and then move in on the next one, I think. So yeah, he's following him down. Okay, so no great day so far for poor old Lieutenant Daisuke. Sorry if I'm butchering the Japanese names there. And Keta 1 move. Okay, so this means that Daisuke's Betty is going to fall out of formation, but the rest will move still. So these are moving forward at 3 plus their speed of 5, so that gives them 8 forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to here. So let me just get the ones who are still in formation in their positions. So we'll bring these forward, then we'll do Daisuke on his own, because he is now moving at his base speed of 5, so he's slowed right down. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's fallen way behind now. So yeah, he's over 4 hexes away, so he's definitely out of formation. Now the tailing aircraft, they will move within, they will move their lowest speed, which is 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yes, calculated that correctly. So now we are hoping for a junior ace card to come up at some point, so we can get at least another burst of fire into that Betty and see if we can do some damage again and wipe it out. But remember, it's on fire anyway, so next turn it will be testing for fire. Right, our next card up then is Red Section Fire. So this is the Hurricanes. They've got nothing they can fire at, nothing, not in position at the moment. That's the other section. German air gunners. Okay, so Miami Daisuke can fire his air gunners at least at that attacking aircraft, and he's going to, of course he is. So although this is a great shot for the the attacking aircraft, it's also a pretty good shot for the defending aircraft as well in this case. But we do it slightly different with air gunners because of the angle of deflection. So normally you wouldn't be able to fire if you're a forward firing aircraft, but because they've got rear firing guns, and their rear firing guns are a 4, so what we do, we start with their maximum permitted burst, which will be, it's a 0 deflection heading towards the aircraft, which the Hurricane is, so they can do a long burst. So we're going to do a long burst on them. So it's a base fire factor, so this is going to be 4 dice. So I'll use red dice here for the Japanese. So they're starting with 4 dice. They are then also, they are doing a long burst, so that's another 2 dice for them as well. This is not going to be anywhere near as good as unfortunately for the ace, but we'll see anyway. They don't have to keep track of ammunition, and they also have no ammunition to deplete because they've got tons of it in their aircraft. They are dead close, which is 2 hexes or less, so that's another 2 dice for them. So slowly building up. Not long range, not extreme. Size of the target. The size of the Hurricane is 1, so that doesn't count. Target's not jinking. The air gunner engaging a jet, no, not firing into the sun. Each additional aircraft with the gunner engaging the same target at a range of 8 hexes or less. So this is air gunners cross-firing basically. They can't because they're on a higher level. If they were up a level and still in formation, you would be able to count at least 2 more of those. So that would be an extra 2 dice for those, so 4 more dice. But that's it basically. So we're hitting on, they've got 8 shots and they're hitting on 5s and 6s. So it's not great compared to when the ace is on your tail and is a sprog. So we go. Let's work out the RAFs. So we're starting with our basic manoeuvre, which is 5 dice. Then we add a D6 for each hex between the target and the firer. There's 1, so we just add that, another 1 in there. Then we adjust for the defender's luck. This guy is a junior ace, so he gets another D6. So it's like for like almost, really, there. And then we do the same. It's the same amount, you know, hits against 5s and 6s, and we see we'll roll the dice, the T10 with them as well. So 5s and 6s for both. That one is cocked, so I'll just re-roll that in a second. That was cocked, but it was more cocked at least onto a 5. So let me just roll that. 1, that's nothing. It doesn't count in there anywhere. And lucky shot rule. When an air gunner engages a target within a range of 4 hexes, the minimum number of dice used for firing is always 2, so it never drops below that. But we do have quite a lot of hits here. 1, 2, so look, 3, 4 hits. So that's 4 hits, but 2 saves, so a net hit of 2. The robustness of the Hurricane is a 2, so this is a net hit of 2, so that's a C. A C is critical damage, so we roll the D10, we've already done it, and we check the consult, the critical damage column on the damage table, so that's a 3. Single engined aircraft, and a 3 is the cockpit is hit. Windscreen damaged or fire leak from the engine, or by fire or leak from the engine, or gun sight damaged. Cannot aim. Minus 3d6 for firing for the rest of the game. 1 column shift left upon spotting. So he's at least shot up his gunneries, but if, to be fair, I don't think that's going to bother our junior ace too much. Next card then. Allied Junior Ace bonus. This is a move or fire bonus. Obviously he doesn't want to move because he's still on the tail, so he's just going to fire. But he is firing with that minus 3d6. He wants to finish off this Betty at least, get 1 full kill if nothing else. So as I say, even that having his targeting shot up doesn't bother old Major John. He is got 19 dice against 1 dice for the Japanese pilot because he's so close. So we're going to roll, see what we do. 5s and 6s, so we've got a 3 on the damage. Let's just have a look. 1, 2. Got more 1s and 6s here, I don't think. Well, let's just get these out as well. So we've got the 1s out, the 1s out. There's a lot of 5s and 6s in here. So not only is he a good junior ace, but he is extremely a good shot as well. So we've got all the 5s and 6s and the 1s out and the 3 there. So we've used up 2 ammunition. He can get rid of 1 because he is a junior ace, so that takes him just to 1 ammo used up. so we can ignore that now. The Japanese pilot had a 1, just not over. It was a 1, so there's no saves on the Japanese. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits once again on a target robustness of 4, and 9 hits is again extra critical damage, and that's a 3. So this is the pilot's hit this time, unfortunately for him. No, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. This is a multi-engined aircraft, so this is cockpit hit with -2 on the dice, it says. I'm not sure what that means, let me just check it. Okay, so it actually means that a gunner has been put out of action, so their rear gunner has been killed, unfortunately for them, so that is not great. So I'm just going to cross off the rear fire factor. So yes, he's gone. Okay, next card then. Altitude bonus. So once again, this is then going to go to the RAF. And I think they're going to use this to get their other section in behind another bomber and try and pick that off. Maybe going for number 4, I think, at this point. That's Kodama Masai, so they're going to go for him, I think. So what they're looking to do is to get in around about here. They're not going to make it this turn, but at least they can get into a position perhaps around about here. So number 7, let's have a look. He's only got 1, so that gives him 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So no, nowhere near. It's going to be at least another turn before they can get into a good position just behind. If we can pick off the rear ones and break up that formation, once again, that's really what they're aiming to do. Okay, our next card pull then is the Ketterführer. He's not on his own, so he's really can't do anything with that card. However, next one up then is red section move. So this is our second section. They're their first section, sorry. So they're in quite a good position actually. They could probably quite easily get in on number 2. They could split their aircraft up and go for 2 Japanese planes perhaps. I think that might be a good idea. I know I said that these were currently flying cover for the attack on the Japanese, but they are pretty close to them now, so I think it might be worthwhile them actually moving in as a position, just in case. I'm going to keep them together as a finger 4 though, but try to get them in once again into a good position so at least they can do a passing attack on them, and again, you know, try to cut down as many bombers as they can. So 1 for these guys. So if we were to come here and then turn 3, or maybe even, well, this is a hard one, isn't it? So he's got 8 to play with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to there. So yeah, put them into a position here. Can't remember if their card has come up or not, but as I say, I don't want to crowd the sky too much around these bombers, but I certainly want to start picking them off as well. So we've got at least number 2 is able to fire. If he does fire though, he doesn't have a wingman, because his wingman's kind of got to be behind him to watch the skies around him. But he's potentially in a reasonable position to fire at that Japanese bomber there. Right, the next card then is, well, Japanese air gunners. Well, he's in a pretty good position to fire at that. The wingers, they're coming into attack, so I think they're going to be honest. It's not a brilliant shot for the air gunner, but he is also using another air gunner from here firing at the same target to add that extra 1 dice, because he's just slightly too far away to do much damage himself, so he may as well chuck it in there. But we basically got 5 dice against, I don't know, 10 or so I think for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 for the Hurricane. Not a great shot, but you know, a shot is a shot. So the Hurricane has saved 1, 2, 3 saves. They've rolled a 2 on their damage if they need it. The air gunners have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 hits. Sorry, 3 against 3. 2 ones don't count for air gunners because they don't lose ammunition. But it is 0 hits, and the aircraft has a target robustness of 2. So M is minor damage. The aircraft is hit but with no effects or injury. No lasting damage other than a few holes in the fuselage and the sighted tracer whizzing by. Next card. German reinforcements. As I said, there is 1 card remaining in this deck. I said before that this might happen. However, I said what we would do then is we would then shuffle that card. Well, let's just see what that last card was anyway. It's a blue section move card, so they haven't actually yes, they haven't actually done their normal move yet. They do loads of bonuses. But so now we shuffle in the reinforcements, so let's just quickly give that a look and see what comes up next. German top ace bonus. Right, so they can move with this as a formation move, and they are going to. So what I need to do is, first of all, two things. I need to find out which table edge they're going to come on, and I'm looking, to me, from where I'm standing, you have to believe me, 1 is forward, 2 to the right, 3 down towards me, this way, and 4 to the left of me. And then I'm going to roll the d6, and that's going to be what height they're actually coming in at. So these are going to come in at that height. I'm just going to make a move. They're going to move in on their normal basic speed. So let's have a look. They're coming in at 5 and they've come in at 2, so they've actually come in behind the bombers. So that makes sense, doesn't it? So I'll get those set up and I'll just show you where they've arrived. They're going to come in the Shotai formation as well, which is a Japanese formation that they use. So here's the Oscars, and as I say, they're coming in their Shotai formation, which is a Japanese only formation that they used. It's kind of like a broken, an open V, basically, with a bit more manoeuvrability. They've moved in on their top ace bonus, which is this guy here. This is Tashimi Mifune, and they'll probably get a couple more moves as well before the end of this turn, so they might actually get on and maybe even be able to maul a couple of these hurricanes. Who knows? Let's see. So our next card then, German formation bonus or Japanese formation bonus. So that is them having a formation bonus. So they are just going to pile forward, probably going to try to get in on 7 and 8. They are currently, they've got a higher altitude than the British, so I think they may stay there for now just to keep that altitude bonus. Mind you, their manoeuvrability is better than the Hurricanes, so they would actually get the bonus even if they drop down. So I might do that with them as well. Let's see. So as I say, they probably want to be coming in here on 7 and 8. I think that might be their best chance at the moment for an attack, because they are separate. So I think it might be worthwhile just going in and giving them some hammer. These are probably going to turn on them, but they are in the wrong aspect. So, well, is it worthwhile then even diving in on these? 3 against 4 or 3 against 2? Let's go for 3 against 2. So first of all, roll our dice. We've got a 1, they've got a speed of 7, that gives them 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me just mark that up so I remember. So there you go there. He comes in here, and our man comes in here as well. And now, I'm going to dive them as well, so I'm going to drop them down an extra hex. As I say, they've got the manoeuvrability on the Hurricanes, so I'm going to just drop them down a hex, and then they're all going to move forward to there, and then that's going to end their turn. So that was a nice, that got them on the table and almost into action immediately as well. Right, next up then is Schwarm 1. They've already moved. They moved with their top ace, so we can ignore that. Blue section move. Okay, this is the remaining the 2 other Hurricanes who've now spotted those Japanese. I think they're going to turn and face them and probably try to do some damage on them at least. Actually, no, I've thought about it. Primary mission is to bring down the bombers. There are civilians' lives in danger. We can forget those. We've got this unit can go around, that section can go around and face them off. There's no point sending 2 in against 3. I want them to go in against the bombers. It's what their primary aim is. So we're hopefully going to get them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're looking for at least a 1-up. He is number 7. He's a veteran, so he can set his speed up to what he wants. Well, he's got a 1, exactly what we wanted. So we're going to bring him in here. So he is exactly there. I've already counted it out, so there's no point in me doing it again. Now he is going to do the getting on the tail test, so let's quickly do that. So the attacker is a veteran, so he doesn't get a plus for that. He's not a top ace, not sacking out the sun. Attacker's aircraft is damaged. No, he has a wingman, so that's a +1. He's got a higher manoeuvrability, so that's +2 so far. And we're going for number 4 here, who is Kodama Masai. He's a veteran. The defender is a veteran, so that's same as. We've got +2 so far. Live gunner covering the approach, -1, so that goes to, we said +2, so that's a +1 so far. Defender's not damaged, the defender hasn't, no. So it's a +1, he needs a 4 up, basically, to get on the tail. So let's see, I'll roll it on camera. 4 becomes a 5, so yes, he is now on the tail of number 4 as well. Right, so the final card for this turn is Japanese Farm Fire 1. They can't fire, so there's nothing to fire at. So that ends the turn. We've now got Oscars on the table. So will things get better for the Japanese here? Let's see though. They're in a bit of a sticky situation with one bomber already shot up and losing height, and the second one in the sights of another Hurricane. So might be able to, well, let's see. We'll see what happens. Right, first up then for this turn is altitude bonus. Everybody is currently at 4, so this goes to the highest manoeuvre, and that is the Japanese Oscars. So they're going to get a bonus move for this. So that means they may, I don't know, they've got quite a few targets here. Let's we'll have a think about it. Okay, it's all a bit mixed up, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm trying to get them in somewhere behind these over here to at least fend them off, I think, to stop them harassing those bombers. But let's see how far we go first of all. So they've got a 4 plus their 7, so that gives them an 11. So let's just see, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and then 11. So he's going to come to there, I think, actually, and then he might at least be able to get a pot shot off at one of those Hurricanes, if nothing else. So just get those back in formation. So our next card is then the German air gunners. So yeah, we're going to do some firing here at those Hurricanes as they're coming in, I think. So we've got 8v8 on the dice. Let's just have a look. That's rolled out, but I'm going to keep it as it is. So the Japanese have hit 1. Their 1s don't count because they have more ammunition than you could imagine, and that's a lot of saves from the RAF for 7 against 1. 1 hit and -7. So this is actually 2 hits or less. So that's a fire. Fire is side slips. The fire is badly mistaken to the angle off. Firing aircraft side slips 1 hex to the left or right to the discretion of the targets. Aircraft in the tail shaken off if they get this outcome when firing. Aircrew gunners ignore this result. So basically they just fired and got nothing for it. Okay, our next one then is bailout. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think the number 6 aircraft is going to bail out. The Japanese Mitsubishi Ben, they're on fire. The rear gunner has been killed. They are currently being stalked badly by a Hurricane, I think, at this point. So I think they are going to actually bail out. So that's this guy here. He is a Sprog. He's also on fire. I'm going to roll for all of the crew just to make it easier because the plane is pitching and yarring everywhere. So basically we need a 4 up to actually pass it. However, it's a Sprog that's in control of the aircraft, so -1, and it's also on fire, so another -1. So he basically needs a 6 for the crew to get out. I don't think they're going to do it, you know. So look, 5, no, they are still struggling to get to the entrance, and they have to keep going. Who's up next then? This is the German Ket. So we're going to have to test to see if that aircraft burns as well, see what happens to its fire, and the rest of them are going to be moving forward anyway. Well, first of all, let's get these actually moving. So what we've got, 3 plus their speed of 5, so that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they are just heading on their way with absolute stoicism at this point. And then move these up into position with them. Then this is also going to move up to there. Then we move up here with this one, and now we've got that Hurricane on the tail there. So this is actually going to close in on this one here with his wingman. So they're still on their tail, but now have closed up. This is the problem with faster aircraft getting on the tail of slower aircraft. Now this one is only going to do his normal speed. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 to here. Now currently this guy is going to have to overfly him because he's still tailing him and his card hasn't come up to break off, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's actually just going to pass him. So he's no longer on the tail. So they've flown over the top of him with the wingman as well. But now we have to test for him burning because he's currently on fire. So we're going to test for this first of all. So we adjust this roll with a -1 because he's a sprog. So we see what happens. We roll the dice. 5 becomes a 4. Fire still burning, and we test again next time. So he's just continued on fire at this point, unfortunately for him. So our next card then is Red Section Fire. They've got nothing they can fire at. They are a level above that Sprog pilot, so they can't actually hit him. There's nobody else in their arc. Blue Section Move. Okay, so we've got a couple of moves here. Actually both of these have already moved because they were tailing aircraft, so they can no longer move. So because their card didn't come up before the bomber's card, they had to move with that aircraft. They couldn't break off, otherwise the other ones could have broken off and done something. The other ones have continued following as well, so we can ignore that. Blue Section Fire though. This is going to cause a bit of damage on another Betty, I think. So we've got this Hurricane here, number 7. This is, let me just check who he is. That is Lieutenant Dave Bullock. He is firing at the Betty, which is piloted by number 4, which is Kodama Masai. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 dice against 2. I think this is going to do quite a lot of damage, to be fair, but let's just see what actually happens. 5s and 6s and 1s are also ammunition users. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get those 1s out as well. There isn't a single save there for the Japanese, but there are lots of 5s and 6s in there. There's a lot more 1s. He's a veteran as well, by the way, firing, so he doesn't reduce any of his dice for firing for ammo usage, and we rolled a 4 on the D10 as well. So yeah, they're all 4s, 3s and 2s. So we've got three bursts have been used up. Let me just mark that off. That is, we said it Bullock, so 1, 2, 3. But as 0 saves, but 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 hits in total. So that's going to be major damage on the Japanese plane again, because 9 was, so I think 10 is definitely going to be. So what are we looking at here? We have a 4 on the extra critical damage, and that is on a multi-engined aircraft. So let me just get Tiny out of the way. These aeroplanes are a bit too small and delicate for her. So we've got multi-engine aircraft, extra critical damage. We rolled a 4. A 4 is bad wing and engine damage. So bad wing and engine damage. Aircraft descends when altitude level immediately and tests for engine damage as below. Attackers automatically stay on the tail of any aircraft suffering this result unless the attacker chooses not to follow. Aircraft with a robustness of 1 or a star are also on fire. No, they're not. But we do have engine damage as well, so that has gone down. Is he going to stay with it? Well, let's see what happens with the engine damage. So, multi-engine. Use a dice to determine which engine is hit. If the damage is inflicted by a top ace or junior ace, the attacker can select which engine is damaged. So, we'll go 1 to 3 starboard, 4 to 6 port. Roll it again. 1 to 3 starboard. So starboard engine is damaged. An engine can only be damaged once. Once it receives a second hit of this kind, it's destroyed. Attackers may stay on the tail of any aircraft that suffers a result. Aircraft with a star rating on their robustness are also on fire, and these do have a robustness star. So let's just put this down, starboard engine. So it's still going, but it is on fire, and so that will have to test for it, and it's going to dive. He's not going to stick on its tail. That's enough damage. There's no point chasing it down. He's going to stay in formation there, so he can at least move on to the next Japanese aircraft if he gets a chance. So I'll just get all that set up and we'll go from there. Well, these poor old Bettys are taking some real damage at the moment. 2 of them already on fire and descending. Anyway, let's see what next up is the Ketafura. He can't really do anything on his own. I kind of saw what was coming up there. Red section at move. So this is the Hurricanes. So let's see what they do. This is the 4 guys who are still in formation at the moment. Maybe they might split off to go and tackle those Oscars who've just arrived, I think. So yeah, what they're going to do is I think I'm going to split them into 2 and then try to tackle these Oscars just to give them a little bit of tactical ability. So let's have a look at 2 plus their speed of 7, so that takes them to 9. So first one is going to be this guy. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then his wingman in position here, and then the other 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and his wingman position there. It just makes it harder for those Oscars to actually do anything against them. That's the idea. Right, next up then is this is Farm 1 move, so this is the Oscars. What are they going to do? Do they go in and help the Bettys, drive them off the? There's a couple of there's a couple of Hurricanes there that are really chewing up those Bettys, so I think they're probably going to go at them rather than anything else. Once again, this game is not really about shooting down as many of the enemy aircraft fighters as possible. It's stopping them shooting down these bombers. So it doesn't matter if these survive or not. What they're wanting to do is get in here on these and then tackle these 2 Hurricanes, so at least they're off the bombers. So let's have a look. We've got, that's meant to be what they're doing, 3 plus 7, so they've got 10 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. They're just going to come in here. Let's will he barrel roll? Actually, I think they might barrel roll, to be honest. So what that does is 6 off their speed, and they basically go 1 to the side, but it costs them 5 in manoeuvres. So they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the barrel roll, but that's cost them 6. So he's got another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't need to roll to pass that because they will pass it automatically. They're regular. If they were Sprogs, they would have to roll to see if they pass it. And then they barrel roll in behind these couple of Hurricanes. They can at least give them some damage and get them off those bombers. Right, let's have a look next. Japanese top ace. Now he could use this to actually get in behind one of these Hurricanes, but it would split their formation because they've already moved, so he can't use this as a bonus card to move the formation. He can move himself, and I think their fire card has yet to come up, so I think this is probably a good idea to do this. He's going to break off from them and then go in on those Hurricanes, because that's, as I say, their primary objective is to stop those Hurricanes doing what they're doing. So he's an ace, so he can actually set his speed at what he wants. He can also do multiple tricky manoeuvres as well, which the barrel roll is. So I'm going to do that with him. So he could do at least, he can do 1 barrel roll in the turn. So I'm going to try to get him up here at least somehow. Or I could do a couple of snap turns with him. So he's got basically 11 to play with. There's a good chance that he could do not just an easy turn, but a break turn. I think is probably the best way to do this, to try to get in behind them, or even a tight turn as well. That's a tricky manoeuvre, so he could easily do that, I think. I'm just having a look to see what other manoeuvres he can do to do this. But to be honest, I think the break turn is probably the easiest one he can do, which will get him into a position. Well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he can do a couple of easy turns, so let's have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that brings him right up to behind number 7. So this is he's going to be getting on a tail test. So first of all, the attacker is a top ace, so +3. He doesn't have a wingman, but he has a higher manoeuvre rating, so that's a +1. So we're currently on +4 at this point. See if we can get onto his tail. The defender is number 7. Who is this? I've got to find him. He is Dave Bullock. He is a veteran. So that's 0. There's no difference. There's no live gunner. The defender is not damaged, and the defender doesn't have a higher manoeuvre rating. So it's still a +4. So basically, he needs a 4 up. He can do it. He automatically does it. He's an ace. He gets straight on the tail. So what that means is when his fire card comes up, he can at least let off a good burst into poor old Dave Bullock at this point, I think. And let's see what that next card then is. German formation bonus. So this is actually, there are still 2 Japanese aircraft in formation, so I could use this then to either get them in on the Hurricane or leave the ace to do some damage on them, or come around and attack blue section. Ooh, I don't know what to do here. It's probably worthwhile actually going for that other Hurricane, I think, and just trying to manoeuvre into their position and get on their tail as well. I think that's probably for the best. These fellas are both regular, so they're going to fly at whatever speed they're given. So let's just do that, see what it is. 2 plus their speed is 7, so that's 9. They're going to do a barrel roll, so that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 forward, 5 to there. And that's cost them 6, so they've got 3 more. 1, 2, 3 to there. I think that's going to be it. It's not a perfect line up, but they're getting in behind those Hurricanes if they can. Right, let's have a look at our next one. This is Allied Junior Ace. So this is John Clark again. He can now fire with, he can bring his wingman along with him, so he's going to actually climb and get on the tail of another Betty, I think, and start chewing that one up as well. So he's an ace. He can set his speed at what he wants to, 7, so he can set up to 9. He's going to climb. Climbing will cost 3 movements basically, so that's 6 forward, so they're both going to go up to 4, and then so that's going to cost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but I want him to get to here actually, because so he can set his speed. So once again, he wants to get on that tail of that Betty. I don't need to test for it, if you remember before, because it's such an immovable object. He is basically going to get on the tail. I'm just going to bring the other guy in and set up their heights as well. Then next up, Allied Character 1. Okay, this is, he's still in formation, so I'm going to keep him as he is at the moment. Or is he? Am I wrong here? This is the character. I'm just trying to find who he is. So he's number 2. Yes, he's not a wing leader, so he can't do a great deal. Would be a bonus fire for him if he's in a position, but he's not. German reinforcements. I'll take that card out. We don't need it anymore. They've arrived. So Schwarm Fire. Okay, so this is the Japanese top ace now, and actually one of the other aircraft can fire as well at the wingman of our junior ace for the British. So we'll get both of those done, I think. So we've got 2 attacks here. First of all, I'm going to do this one first. This is Akira Kurosawa. He is firing here at number 6. Who is Mel Burke, Lieutenant Mel Burke. He's our Sprog. It's only 6 dice for the Japanese against 8 for the British, simply because of the angles of attack and all that, but let's just see what happens anyway. So we've got how many hits from the Japanese? 1, 2 hits, and that's a 6, but I don't think there's going to be any criticals. We've got 1, 2 saves from the British in there, so it is 0 net hits. So that means we have robustness of 1 for the aircraft that is being fired at. Sorry, it's robustness of 2. Minor damage, no effect. So I didn't think there was going to be a great deal of chance. You really need to be up close, a little bit like our man Toshiro Mifune is, and he is now taking a shot at number 7. Who is this? That is our Lieutenant Dave Bullock. So this is actually, I think this is something like 14 dice against 6 for the Japanese. So there's probably more chance of this doing. So this is where the aces come in basically. So we've got 1, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. Just going to get the ones out as well. A 1, a 2 and a 3. He's a top ace. I think he can ignore the top 2 dice. He was doing the long burst, so he actually has to add in a couple of 1s into there, but he can get rid of 1 because he is a top ace, so I'll put that in. So he's actually used up 4 of his ammunition, so I'm just going to cross that off. Doesn't have a huge amount of ammo, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then we've scored 2, 4, 6 hits. How many has Burke saved? 1, 2, 3, 4 actually. That's pretty good. So it's a net hit of 2. Yeah, 2 net hit. On a 2 robustness, that is actually a critical damage. So that means we then roll again. Well, we've rolled the d10 already, so that's an 8 on a critical damage. That is engine damage. So he has to break off and go home. So not a good day for him, unfortunately. So maybe the Japanese ace will follow him, but maybe he'll just leave him to circle off and bugger off. So penultimate card for this turn, Allied Formation Bonus. Okay, there's a couple of these kicking about. Is it worthwhile old our fella using this and getting as far away off the table as possible, or using it to bring in against some of these Japanese fighters? I think we'll probably go against some of these Japanese fighters actually. Let's do that. These are basically stuck out in the middle of nowhere, so I want them back and I need them back into the fight as quick as possible as well. So we're going to use the formation bonus on them, and I'm going to use it on these guys here to try to turn around and get on these Japanese here. So we've got the 3 plus 7 is a 10. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring them there. So he was in formation with him. Then the last card this turn is the Japanese air gunners. So okay, they are going to start firing at some of these attacking hurricanes, I think. So here we go, the Japanese have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice against 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 dice, because they're firing at that junior ace, of course. He does have a shot up cockpit at this moment, but let's see what happens here. So we've got Japanese 1, 2, 3 hits. We can ignore 1s because it's a gun from a bomber. So those are all misses. So 3 hits. How many? That was cocked. I'm going to re-roll that. 3, so that's nothing. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 saves. So it's -1. That is fire aside slips. However, because it's a rear gunner firing, we ignore it, so no effect. Then we're back in again for another turn. Let's see what happens here. It's still all to play for. I mean, the Japanese ace has made himself known at least. But we are 2 betties down at the moment. Well, let's just have a look. German air gunners again, so exactly the same thing is going to happen again. Well, it certainly makes things a bit simpler, doesn't it? So let's just have a look. This time we've got 1, 2 hits from the Japanese gunner. Let's get rid of that. And we've got 1, 2 saves from the ace. So that is 0 net hits on a target robustness of 2 is a medium damage, minor damage, so nothing, no effect again. Right, next up then is red section fire. This is a bit, I don't know, this is a bit difficult, this one, because they're not in a great position. One of their guys, who is their veteran, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from a Japanese fighter. It's not really going to do a great deal of damage, and it's just going to use his ammunition up. So I'm going to hold on for it. I'm going to wait till they're getting closer. There's always the next turn. Schwarm 1 move, so this is the Japanese, including the ace if they wanted to as well. He's currently on somebody's tail, so he may break off, I think. Right, this is a bit tricky. I'm actually going to keep the ace on the tail of this chap here because he's not gone down yet. And I think one more burst will probably finish him. We've got a couple more. There is at least the ace bonus and also their fire card coming up. Rather than breaking off and not really being able to do a great deal, I'm trying to weigh the odds in my favour, I think. So I'm going to keep him on the tail just in case. His card has to come up, as does their fire card, and if he stays on his tail he can move with him as well. It's driving him off and away from those betties, and that's the main thing. So we're just going to be moving these two guys here. So it's number 2 who's going to be moving. Don't think they can't do a great deal. I don't think. We might be able to get in possibly around the back of these ones, but let's have a look. He's rolled a 2, so that is 9 speed. They have to go that speed because they're both regular. Or is it worthwhile coming around here and then allowing the ace to finish off? No, protect the bombers, protect the bombers. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So that will bring him to here. Oh, it's not great, but he's in the rough area of the bombers at least. And then they can hopefully do a flip or something next turn to get round behind, to come in behind these two fellas here. That's their plan. Right, let's see on the next card then. German top ace, there you go. That was worth waiting for, wasn't it? So he's going to use that as a fire, and he's going to lamp poor old number 7, which is Dave Bullock. He's going to give him a hammering, who's already got a bad engine at this point. So once again we've got 14 for 6. The reason that the Japanese ace has got a lot fewer dice than the Hurricanes is because they've got a fire factor of only 4, whereas the Hurricanes is a fire factor of 8 because they've got loads of guns in them. Basically that's it. But let's have a little look at what we've got here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think, you know, psychologically it's probably just better to try to destroy as many of the Allied aircraft as possible. So that is 5 hits and only 1 save. However, they was firing a full burst, so he gets an extra 1 dice. So he doesn't have more 5s and 6s than the enemy. So I don't think his guns jam on that. No, he needed more. He's got equal, he hasn't got more. So we can get rid of that. So it is 4 hits and a 7 on the damage dice. We've got 4 hits is a critical damage. A 7 on a single engine aircraft, critical damage, critical instrument damage. So this is serious problems with instruments or control cables, severely affecting the responsiveness of the aircraft. Aircraft must break off combat and head for home at best available speed, i.e. the slowest because of the engine. May not initiate combat, may only take easy manoeuvres, manoeuvre rated permanently -1, so that's another 1 off it already. Attackers automatically stay on the tail of an aircraft that suffers a result, unless the aircraft chooses not to follow. Sprogs must head home. Aircraft with a star against the robustness, which they don't, would also be on fire. So he definitely has got to go home. His aircraft is in bits. Well, let's see what's up next. Japanese formation bonus. Right, well, there is 2 of their Oscars that are actually in formation, so we're going to use that and get them to come around behind that ace if that's at all possible. So these are the 2 in formation, so we're going to try to get them around as quick as possible. So we got a 1, so that gives them a speed of 8. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Not great, but better than nothing. So at least they're circling around to come in behind if they can get it. Then Form 1 fire. This is the Japanese. Oh yes, let's go mad. I think he's going to put another load of shots into those into that Hurricane, I think. See if it, no, actually he's not, because I forgot to mark off his ammunition expenditure last time, which was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. He's actually only got 3 shots left. So yes, he's going to hold off on that, and the 2 Japanese Oscars, they've got nobody in their sights. So Allied formation bonus. Right, we got a nice formation that is now just about to move in on the tail of that ace, and I think they're going to. Well, we've got these fellas here. I want them here, basically. These are 2 veterans. They can only do 1 barrel roll. So yeah, 2 veterans. So they wouldn't have to test to do a barrel roll, but they can get a barrel roll to get in a little bit behind here, or do a couple of slow turns to get in behind. Let's see what happens. So 3, that becomes a 10. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, look at that. Perfect almost. Now, can we get on the tail? Let's have a look. This is going to be quite a test. So we normally need a 4 up anyway. But we have, let's just start off. The attacker is a veteran, so that's nothing. He's not attacking out of the sun, he's not damaged. He has a wingman, so that's +1. He doesn't have a higher manoeuvrability rating, so +1 so far. The defender is a top ace, -3. So far, so it's -2. And he has a higher manoeuvre rating, so that becomes a -3 in total. He needs a 4 up, so he actually can't do it because the best he can get is a 6. -3 is going to be 3, so he can't get on the tail, unfortunately. But he's at least in a position to fire at him, but just not on that tail. And our next card then is Blue Section Fire. This is our second section. So this is, our ace. He's actually on the tail of another Betty, so he could do some damage here. Is it the ace? Yes, junior ace, John Clark. He's got a damaged gun sights. Unfortunately with number 7, he's got an engine failure and control panel failure, so he can't fire. So he's going to have to bugger off. And the other ones, they can't actually fire at anybody else either. So our first one here is the junior ace, well the only one here. I think he's got 18 dice versus 8 for the Japanese bomber. Hopefully he's going to do quite a bit of damage because he's on the tail, all that business. So we're hitting on 6s, pull out the 1s as well. Looks like there's only 1 1 there. No, two 1s. I'll just knock that over. It was actually cocked, so I'm going to re-roll that one. I'll just roll it out there. 4, so it's nothing. 1 save that I can see so far. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 6 hits with 2 1s. However, we turn 2 into 1s, but then get rid of 1, so that is 3. He's used up 3 of his ammunition. Just mark that off. That was our man over here. 1, 2, 3. So we've used up our 3 ammunition here, and then we've also taken, the Japanese have taken 6 hits with a 4 on that dice. Just checking that. Robustness of 5. 6 hits against that is 2 critical damage. This is a multi-engined aircraft. A 4 on 2 critical damage is cockpit hit, which again I think is that cockpit hit, or is that going to be the rear? So that is a hit on the gunner, so their gunner is out again. Another gunner has been killed, so that's number 3. Rear gunner out, so cross that off. Next card up then is Allied Junior Ace. Same guy, he's just going to fire again. He's going to put more fire into that poor old Betty. Right, so same again. Let's have a look. See what happens this time. That was cocked and all that. Nothing. So we've got 1 save once again from the Japanese. It's not like they're playing to type, is it? Let's see how many 1s we got. We've got 1, 2, and they're doing full bursts. That's a 9. Another one there. How many hits we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits, and 5 ammo used up. So let me just take that off first of all. So that's 5 ammo, and that's off our junior ace. He's almost out of ammunition actually at this point. He's only got two shots left basically after this, but he hasn't jammed his guns, which is always good. But that is a 5 and also a 9 on the D10, so 5 hits of a robustness of 5. 5 hits is critical damage. That is catastrophic structural damage. The target is shot down, descends 2 bands straight down when next activated for movement, and each activation thereafter until it reaches altitude 0, smashing into the ground. They can attempt to bail out, but otherwise it is over for them. So that is 1 Betty absolutely shot down properly. Right, next up, Allied Character 1. Okay, he's again too far away from anything to actually do anything at this point. Our character is, I'm just going to double check, the character is number 2. Yeah, he's a wingman at the moment and he's got nobody in his side, so I can't even use his bonus fire. Anyway, German air gunners, so at least the Bettys can have a go back at that junior ace if they get a chance. Let's have a look. So we've got this one firing at the junior race, and then this one is also having their fire as well to it. I don't think it's going to be great because of the distance and all that. That's a 4. We've got 1 hit and 1 save, so that's 0 net hits against an aircraft robustness of 1. 0 hits is nothing. Minor damage. Right, our next card then. Japanese Keta on the move. Let's see what they do. There's a couple of aircraft on fire I've got to test for. Right, so let's see what the remaining undamaged Bettys are doing, which is these 3 here. They're flying forward at 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are just going to keep coming forward. I might move everything up in a second, but I'll do it off camera. And this guy is currently only doing his normal speed, so he's going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, he's going to turn away for home, I think. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3. Let's work it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His aircraft is on fire, so I'm going to have to test for that. The other one here just moves forward at 2. They're going to have to test, well, they can't bail out, but they're just going to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He doesn't have to stay on his tail, so he's not going to. It's a choice. He can break off, so he has done. That was their starboard engine, wasn't it? Let's get it right. So that's on fire. So we've got 2 tests of being on fire, and then we've got the other Sprog aircraft as well. They can't get out, but they'll just go forward at 4. Well, let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to get them as well going home. There's no point having burning aircraft with you, is there, at this point? So we need to test now for those fires. Right, so the first one is a Sprog, so he has a -1 on his fire dice, so 3 becomes a 2. That is fire upgrades to a serious fire. Sprogs and regular descend 1 band and immediately, and then on subsequent movements roll d6 to adjust. So that's gone down another 2. Down to 2. They are going to try to bail out if they can. They're needing 6s to bail out of that one. And the other aircraft is a regular, I believe, number 4. He is a regular, so he's a veteran. So he doesn't get a plus on this though, just a roll, a 4. Fire still burning, test again next time. So they're still burning up, unfortunately for them. Next card for this turn, and bail out. Perfect timing. Right, we've got 3 Japanese aircraft that are going to need to bail out. Okay, so we've got a number of tests. First of all, the Sprog, they need a 6 to get out. No. This guy over here, they need a 5 because they are on fire. 1, no. And then these guys over here, they need a 4 because they're not on fire. 5, yes, they have bailed out. So at least that they have survived. I'm going to make a note of that they have got out, bailed out. So that will just continue to crash into the floor. That will be gone next turn anyway. But the other ones are still on fire. Right, let's take a look at... Oh, it's the Keta Fuhrer. He can't really do a great deal, so we'll just ignore that. It's kind of for him on his own, really, or if he's firing a firing bonus. Red section move. So this is the British red section. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. They're going to have to move on this because nobody's on anyone's tail, but they can at least close in on some of those Japanese bombers. First off, I want to do these ones. They're a bit out on the way, so they're going to come round, circle round to attack those Japanese aircraft behind them there. So 4 plus their 7 is an 11. Let's have a look where they're going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Get themselves into position there. So at least they're ready to start attacking some Japanese planes. Then we've got these 2 over here. He's in perfect line to get on number 2's tail, so let's have a look, see if we do. 2 is 9, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's actually 4 away. Worth him as well getting on the tail at this point? Yes, it is, it always is. So we'll try a getting on the tail test. So this is our number 1 This is David Lang, he's a veteran, and getting on the tail test is the attacker is a veteran, so that's nothing. He's got a wingman, so that's a +1. He's got a higher manoeuvre rating, so that's +2. The defender is number 2, and that is a regular, so nothing there. There is a live gunner approaching, covering the approach, -1. So it's a +1 basically. So he needs a 3 up to get on the tail of that Betty. Yes, he's got on the tail of that Betty. So I'll just mark that up, and then we'll see what card comes up next. Next card up then is altitude bonus. Okay, this goes to the Japanese. They've got the highest manoeuvrability. So I'm going to give this to their ace actually, and he's going to try to get in on the tail of one of these hurricanes. So our Japanese ace is here. He's going to stop following that hurricane there, and then he is going to try to barrel roll to get in behind number 2 here, I think. So he can do that quite easily because he's an ace, so that will push him forward 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there, but that costs him 6, and then he will use his slowest speed, 7, just to get in just behind this fella, and then he is also now going to try to get on the tail of number 2. Number 2 is, he's a veteran, so it might not be so easy, but let's have a look. The attacker is a top ace, so it's a +3 already. He doesn't have a wingman, so it's a +3. Higher manoeuvring, so it's +4. However, he's against a veteran, so that's nothing, and that's it. So +4. So he actually needs 4 up. He does it. He does it automatically. There's no point in me rolling. Then our last card for this turn is blue section move. Okay, so this is the second, the second section of the British. So we could get a couple of these probably in on the tails of some of these Betties, I think. This is our this is the veteran, the ace. Yeah, the ace, the junior ace at least. I was trying to work out what was for the best here with these guys. We've got a veteran here, and his wingman is a Sprog. So we could potentially do some slow manoeuvres to get him maybe behind one of these Betties. But let's see. Number 5 is he's our junior ace. He's only got two rounds left, but he could actually do some quite bad damage to this Betty if he can get him behind it, and I think that's probably what he's going to try to do. So let's go with him first of all. So a 2, so he could move up to 9 if he wanted to. So let's just have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that will get him there. Then he's a junior ace on a big old Betty. He's going to get on the tail. There's no point in me rolling for that. So we'll just stick that straight on there. So he's straight onto the tail of another one. And then we've got these guys here. We've got 4 hurricanes against 3 Betties, but they do have a junior ace kicking around. Is it worthwhile breaking these off to go and attack those other aircraft there? I think they're going to. So yeah, these are going to break off. Leave these to deal with the Betties. There's enough fire going to be putting down on those Betties, I think. So we're going to turn these ones around. So look at 4. So that gives them 11. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Finish there, and then bring your man in here as well. So not in a perfect spot, but enough to drive those Japanese off, hopefully. Right, next turn. Let's just see what we get out of this one, shall we? Still all to play for. Those Betties are getting heavily damaged at this point. 2 are heading for home. 1 is crashing already, but we have got the Japanese ace, and he is starting to make a bit of a mess of these. The couple of the hurricanes anyway. Well, let's have a little look. Okay, this is red section fire. Are we able to fire? This is 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 is able to fire. Yeah, this is our veteran. He's currently on the tail of something at least. 2 is his wingman, so he's not. And 3 and 4 currently are unable to fire, but at least we can get some shots off at another Betty, I think. So here we go. this is Major David Lang. He is firing. I think he's got about 15 or 16 dice in total against the Betty here, which has got about 5 or 6. Let's have a look. 5s and 6s. Let's get them out. So the Betty has saved 1 and 2, 3 in total. So let me just get those to one side. David has got 1, 2. Used a 1 shot, 5 hits. And he's rolled, 6 hits in total there, so he's rolled a 6 as well. He's used a long burst as well though, so he increases his number of 1s by 2 if he's firing, so that's another 2, just turn those into 2 1s. He's a veteran, so he can't, but he can reduce them because he's on the tail, so it's 2. He's used up 2 of his ammunition, so that's okay, he can handle with that. And that is a net hit of 3 with a 6, so the robustness of that Betty is a 5. A 3 is an M with a star, which is minor damage with the target evade, a close shave that makes the target pilot swerve violently. The firer may move the target aircraft 2 hexes left or right, and the firer stays on its tail. Well, I tell you what, that's a bit of a tricky one, because we've got several people on the tail here, so he stays on the tail if he wants it to move, and it might be worthwhile in moving it simply because it then gets it out of formation. No, to be honest, there's not much point in him doing it. We'll leave it as it is. It's a may, so he doesn't have to do it. So he's not going to do it. He's going to keep it where it is because his formation bonus isn't helping that Japanese pilot, I don't think, anyway. It's not like he's got a wingman or anything that's helping him, so happy to leave it where it is at this point. Right, next card is Farm Fire. So this is everybody. This is including our top ace, Mifune. He's going to let burst at poor old Karl Rowe. Let's see what happens to him. Well, this might be Mifune's last burst. He's only got 2 rounds left. Well, it depends if he rolls any 1s or not. Let's have a look. Let's see what we got. It doesn't look like there's many 1s in there. That one is cocked, so I'm going to re-roll that. So another 5, so that's another hit. So maybe he does quite a lot of damage with this one. Let's just see. I can't see any 1s in there. However, he's going to have a couple of 1s at least because he... Well, let's see. He gets 2 1s because he's doing a long burst. However, he's also an ace and he's on the tail, so he can minus those 2 of those away. So he would convert 2 of these into 1s. But then, as I say, because he's not only because is he an ace as well, top ace, he can get rid of 1, and also he's on the tail, so he can get rid of another 1. So he's actually still got 2 rounds left after all that firing. But anyway, that's beside the point. 2 saves from the British guy from who is this? What's his name? Find him again. Karl Rowe. And so that is 5 net hits and a 2 rolled on the D10. So we've got 5 net hits up against a robustness of 1 is 2C. Oh no, robustness of 2, sorry, so that's 2C, still the same. Really critical damage. And a 2 on that, sorry, is the cockpit is hit. So let's just see what that does. So windscreen damage by fire or leak, gun sign cannot aim, -3 for the firing for the rest of the game, and then also 1 kilometre left shift on the spotting. They're not spotting, so -3 D6. I think I've been forgetting about that from one of the other guys, but never mind. Right, next up then, it is Japanese formation bonus. Right, well, there is 2 aircraft in formation, so I think they're going to do some moving and diving and trying to get on those bomber attackers again. These are the Japanese that are in formation. I did forget that number 7 is actually supposed to be heading for home, so he's going to fly off in the direction of home next turn. So let's have a look. 2 plus their speed of 7, so that's 9. Number 2 is our man, so I want him to get in here really if we can. So we want to be on this row here, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that will bring him to there, and then him just in with him there. Now, can he get on number 5's tail? That's a good question. Number 5, mind you, he's a junior ace and he's a regular. Let's see, let's add it up, let's see if there's a chance. It's a bit far away though. 4 hex is a little bit too far away to really be to do anything, but otherwise he's then just going to fly over him, I think. I tell you what, let's try and get on his tail. It may as well. So the attacker is regular, so that's nothing. Attacker's aircraft is damaged, no. Attacker has a wingman, yes he does, so that's a +1 at least, and he's got a higher manoeuvre rating, so that's +2+. However, he's up against a junior ace, -2. And that's it. So basically it's a straight roll. He needs a 4 up to get on his tail. Yes, he's done it. He's on the tail, so at least he can do a bit more damage when he comes to do some firing. Right, let's look at what's next. Okay, this is the Betty's move. The 3 remaining Bettys. Well, actually the others will move as well, but they're going to try to get away as quick as they can. So one has now been destroyed because it's going to hit the ground, and the fellas failed to get... Oh no, they escaped last turn. Right, well first of all let's do these ones in formation, because then we've got the other ones over here. These are going to be moving as well. So actually this is going to get quite complicated because there's a lot of people tailing people at this point. Right, anyway, let's move number 1, see where we're going. 2, so that moves forward 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that brings him to there. So then we've got him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he is here. Now he is being tailed. So he will actually move 7 forward as well at his normal speed, but we will then increase his speed because he is going faster anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's closing in down, but I don't know how good that is going to be for him. And then this guy is here. Now Mifune is also on his tail, so he was going to move with him as well. So everybody's moving together. Then we've got this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're all moving with their wingmen as well, of course. So this guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's closed in again because he's doing that. The relative speed is the difference here. So we bring them up as well. And then the Japanese guy is doing the same speed, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as well, because he is able to keep that same speed behind him. He will then also bring his wingman up to here, so everybody's chasing everybody at this point. So over here we still got these guys are on fire. So number 4 we're going to have to try, this is just a normal fire, so this is starboard engine is on fire. So we basically roll a d6, he's a regular, so we roll a d6 and we just have to see what happens here. A 6 is, the fire is extinguished, but he is still going to be heading for home anyway. He's not sticking around here. However, we've got our Sprog, number 6 over there. He's got a serious fire, so we roll a d6 and -1 on this. Let's see what happens. 5 becomes a 4. This is a serious fire, it's still burning and we need to test again. Now both of these are going to be doing their basic moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going to get these further forward. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And brings them to there. With the fire still burning, he's going to drop another altitude band. So if he doesn't get the fire out next turn, he's going to crash. Or if they can't bail out this turn, they are going to crash. Right, next up then is Germany's top bonus. Right, he's going to have another fire then at our fella that he's already shot up anyway. He's shot up his cockpit, but he's going to have another go at him. Right, we've got our lot here, so it's pretty much the same as it was before. To be fair, I don't know, about 15 or so for the Japanese. And so we've got a 7 on the d10, but let's have a look at what we've got here. We've got only one shots here, so I think he's only using up 1 ammunition off of that, but he has hit 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. British guys saved 2, so that's a net hit of 2. Double check that. We've got a net hit of 2 against a robustness of 2 is critical damage. The Japanese guy is going to turn 2 of these into a long burst, but he is also an ace and on the tail, so he actually uses up 1 of his ammunition. He's still got one left. He's just obviously not squeezing. Well, 2 left now. Actually, sorry, I mistook here. We've got 3 left. He's now got these down to 2 now. But we've got that critical damage, 7 on the critical damage, critical instrument damage. That is not a good thing. Serious problems with instruments or control cables seriously affecting the responsiveness of the aircraft. Aircraft must break off combat and head for home at its best available speed. May not initiate combat. Can only do easy manoeuvres, and a manoeuvre rating is down by 1. So he hasn't destroyed him, but he's sent him packing, and that's the main thing. Right, next up then. Bail out. Okay, so we're going to have to try to do some bailing out here. We've got the Sprog and his crew. They're going to try to get out. They need a 6. They've got a fire and he's a Sprog, so -2, so they need a 6. I'll do it here. See if they made it. 5. No, they haven't. They can't do it, fortunately for them. But then we've got Japanese Swarm move. However, they are on the tail, so they're not going to be moving. So we'll just move on from that. Then it's the Japanese air gunners. So let's see if they can do some damage as well. So we've got this Japanese plane is firing at our Major David Lang. With this one is joining in with it as well. I know it might have been easiest for him to fire, but he wouldn't have been able to fire because his blocks, line of sight is blocked. So it's easier to get that extra dice in with this guy firing at just the 1. That's what they're going to try to do. I could have split the fire between them, but I'm not going to. Right, so we've got hits. Okay, now we've got 1, 2. We can ignore 1s because they don't run out of ammunition. So let's just get those misses out of the way. And it's a 4 as well on the damage. But they have scored 0 net hits against a robustness of 2 is minor damage. And next up then is the Ketafuhrer. He's going to do nothing on his own. And Allied Junior Ace bonus. Where is our Junior Ace? He is kicking about somewhere else. He's actually on the tail, so yeah, he's going to do some damage. He's only got 2 shots left, so he's going to do some damage, hopefully on this Betty, and take another one down. Right, okay, so our British Junior Ace is going to be rolling 8 million dice, I think it is. And we've got 2 for the Japanese here, because he's so close. He's closed that gap. As I say, he's only got 2 rounds left, so if it rolls loads of 1s, he could be heading for home. So the Japanese has saved none. They scored a 6 on that D10. We have 1, 2, 3 rounds. He will add 2 because of his long burst, but he will also take 2. Let me just add these in. So we've got 1 and 2 because of his long burst, but he's on the tail and an ace, so he can get rid of 2. But he's used up 3, so he is actually out of ammunition now. So I'm just going to make a mark of that. So he will be heading back home as soon as possible. So let's see how many net hits it is, because there's no Japanese saves here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, excuse me, try not to knock these, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, go big or go home, that's what they say, isn't it? I mean, that's no matter what, that's extra critical damage. 9 up is extra critical damage. Extra critical damage with a 6. Catastrophic structural damage. That aircraft is heading for the ground ASAP, so they are going to need to try to start to jump out. So I'll make a note of that, but that is another kill. Right, let's have a look. And our next one is Blue Section Fire. Okay, this is actually, well, this is the ace. Oh, unfortunately, he could fire at the lead Betty, but unfortunately for him, he's out of ammunition, so he can't. That was number 5. Number 6 is his wingman, and then 7 and 8 are elsewhere, so they can't fire either. Altitude bonus. This goes to the Japanese. They are currently tailing, so I'm going to leave them and ignore it. Red section move. Okay, so this is 1 and 2. So 1 is currently tailing, so they're going to leave that. But we do have 3 and 4 elsewhere, so I'm going to try to get them across to help out with the firing, the fighting that's going on at the other end of the table, where they're pretty badly damaged actually. No, these 2, they haven't even fired a shot yet. I'll see if I can get them across the table. So this is the remainder of blue section. I'm going to try to get them down here just to see what happens. Let's have a look at 1. So that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're facing there. Not a huge move, but enough to start bringing them in to tackle the Japanese fighters. Then next up we have Allied Character 1. Okay, so this is Karl Rowe. This is number 2. He is currently, he needs to go home. He's got critical instrument damage, so he's going to break off and he is going to try to go home because he hasn't actually used his card. He's moved with the Japanese because he was moving as a wingman. So he's going to move. He's going to fly away because. And will the Japanese ace stay on him? Let me have a think about it. So this is our character here. The Japanese ace isn't going to stay with him. He's got to go home. So he's done what he needs to do. So we're just going to get rid of him. So let's have a look. We've got 2 plus his 7. So that's he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just get out of here as quick as possible. Sorry, no, 7, 8, 9. I don't know why I keep putting those aircraft down. No, he's going to. I want the Japanese ace to try to cut out as many of these other hurricanes as possible. I just think if somebody's got to head for home, they're out of the combat. It doesn't matter. German air gunners, or Japanese air gunners in this case. Can we fire? Well, yes, one of them can. So we're going to. So this time they're firing a number 1, which is our Major David Lang. This guy's firing. He's going to help. So we're hitting on 6s, 5s and 6s. That's only 1. But he has managed to save 2 of them. So that's against a robustness of 2. It's a -1 ammo D4, so there's no effect. Okay, next up is Allied Formation bonus. Alright, so that's going to be the other guys from blue section. They're going to try to get down to help out, I think. So that's these fellas here, ignoring these Japanese planes here. There's no point going for them. So that's 1 plus 7, so that's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that brings them to there and there. And then that's their bonus. And let's see, last one is blue section move. Okay, so half a blue section are tailing. They're on the tail. They could break off. No, they're currently on the tail of that aircraft that's dropping out of the sky. So they're going to stay with it, I think, because it hasn't moved yet. Or should they? Should he break? Yeah, I think they're going to break actually. But anyway, let's have a think about that. Yes, I've just realised actually, blue section is the guy here. This is the Major, who is currently out of ammo anyway. So he is going to break off. He's going to head for home as well. He's going to take the Sprog with him as much as he can. He is still being tailed by that Japanese pilot there. But let's just see what happens. He's going to just try to get away at this point. 8. So that's 4 plus 7 is 11. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to there. He's not going to try any trick moves or anything like that at this point. I don't think there's any point in doing it. So the Sprog is with him here. And then the Japanese pilot was actually 4 behind him. So the Japanese pilot should end up here, but he's going to get pushed forward because he can't end his turn on another pilot. So he gets pushed forward 1, and then this guy is still with him in formation. So he's been chased by the Japanese pilot, but we're not too worried because we've got the other guys over there, and they are just going to come down here to try to help out with this Japanese pilot here. So let's have a look. We've got a 1, so that's they can move 8. No, actually they are going to have to disappear off as well because they are also damaged. So I'll just move those off camera. Okay, I think this fight feels a little bit like it's starting to wind down. There's at least 1, 2, 3 British aircraft that are heading for home. The other ones are Sprogs. Pretty much, the 3 of them are Sprogs that are left on the table. There's a veteran kicking about and also another veteran. So there's still a couple of guys in the fight, but right now I think, yeah, it just feels a little bit like we are. They're all probably starting to head for home. The fuel is getting a bit low, but let's have a look, see what happens. German top ace bonus. So this is Mifune. Is he going to be able to get in behind somebody and give them a lamping at this turn? This is a bit of a tough one because the Japanese guy wants to get in behind him. He can't do it, I don't think. He could probably do a couple of break turns to get in. It's going to cost him quite a lot. But I don't know. It might just be worthwhile him going in, maybe, for coming in against this Sprog here, trying to get a line of sight on him. I could always bring him in behind number 2, but number 2 is heading home anyway, so there's not much point in shooting him down with his remaining ammunition. A bit of a tough one to call, this. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go for the Sprog. The Sprog is number 6 over here. This is Major Mel Burke, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 to there. He's an ace, so he can set. He's not got behind him, but he's coming at him, if nothing else. Then, next up, British Red Section. Okay, so this is everybody. Number 1 is already on the tail. Number 2 is breaking for home, and 3 and 4 are quite a bit away, so they're going to just move down. So number 2 is here. He's actually going to dive, do 2 dives as well. 4 plus his 7 is 11, so he's going to dive down 2, because he just wants to get away at this point. Just need to get him off the table. So 1, 2, that was his free move. Then he gets another 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He is touching the nape of the earth and scooting home. Then we are going to go with 3 and 4. So they're just going to move forward at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here, these 2 guys, maybe they might bag themselves another Betty. Let's have a look. We've got the blue section is moving now. So we've got a couple of simple moves with these ones. These guys are just going to try to break off here. They are being chased. First of all, we're going to try with these ones up 3, so 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's going to bring them to there. These guys are heading home. I don't know if at this point it might be worthwhile the RAF actually just buggering off, because they really don't have a great deal left. But we've got these ones here, 5 and 6. They're doing 1, so they're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is their total. So to there, and then the Japanese guy is 1, 2, 3. He was 3 behind, so he's there on their tail with his wingman, who's there. So that's them 2. Then we have blue section fire. Nobody in blue section can fire. So altitude bonus. Okay, this is a Japanese, so probably give this to the ace, I think. See if he can get in behind somebody and give somebody a walloping. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Getting right behind that. The Sprog there. There's no need to roll. He's on his tail. It's a top ace against the Sprog. Next one. Allied character 1. Okay, has he's already done his move, I think, hasn't he, with red? Or has he? Red section move, so he's already done his move, so he can't do anything else. Then we've got Keta 1 move, so this is the bombers. Going to have to do a little bit of fire control, I think, and also some guys are currently falling out of the sky. Right, let's have a look for these. First of all, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that brings him to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That brings him to there. He's being tailed, but they are a speed 2 faster, so he actually will end up on him, but then over him, because he can't end up on him, so that breaks him there. This will drop down to 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, as it is falling out of the sky. They're going to need to bail out. I've got to check the other ones to see if they bail out as well or not, because we've got that Sprog. They're going to die if they don't bail out, so I'm going to test the bailout for the Sprogs now. 6 and they can. No, they haven't, so they've crashed and they have all been killed in the crash as well. And then we've got one final bailout. So it's these guys here, they need a 4 up. No, they haven't done it. They will crash next turn if they don't bail out as well. Alright, next card up then is Schwarm 1 move. They've already moved because they're on the tail, so they can ignore that. Schwarm 1 fire. Right, this might be nasty for the Allies, because we've got the ace and also another guy on someone else's tail. So let's work out what's going to happen and see where we go. So we've got some firing from the Japanese. We've got the Japanese ace, Mifune, firing against number 6, which is our Sprog, which is Mel Burke. And then we've also got our number 2 Japanese guy, who is Kurosawa. He is firing against Major John Clark, who is a junior ace. We're going to start with that first, because that's one that is the Japanese are not likely to do a great deal of damage with. But let's just have a look. I've already worked the dice off both, so let's have a look. We've got a 1, 2 hits by the Japanese, 2 more. They're going to turn 2 of those into more ammunition used, because they're not junior ace or anything, but he's on the tail, so we can get rid of 1 of them. So they've used up 3, 2 hits. Meanwhile, the junior ace has got 1, so it's a net hit of 1. I don't think that's a great deal of robustness of 1, net hit of 1, minor damage, so no effect there. But the Japanese have used up 2 of his ammunition. But this one should be a bit better, because we've now got Mifune, the top ace, on a Sprog. And this again, he is now down to literally his last 2 shots of the game. Let's have a look. This may do something. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've also got tropical rainstorms coming in as well. 6, 7, 8. 2 of those. I'm going to turn 2 of these into 1s to remind me. He's on the tail, but he's an officer, but he's also used up 2, so he's actually ended his amount of ammunition. He's got nothing left in him, but he's done 8 damage. 6 hits with a 9. So that is, let's just have a quick look. He's a robustness of 2. We've got 6 hits on him. That is 2 critical damage, really critical damage. That's a 9. Explodes, bang. So we've got 1 explode immediately. So we're going to have to test to see what happens to the aircraft around it when it explodes. Everybody within 2 hexes will they've got to see if they do a manoeuvre or they follow. So that is definitely a definite kill. So actually it would be a loss of control if they rolled a 1 or less, but they're both the top ace and the junior ace who are within range of it, so they get +1 and +2, so they can't get less than a 1, so they survive. He's gone, so he's off his tail, so that is 100% kill there for Mifune, at least, if nothing else. Right, let's see what our next one is. German formation bonus. They've all moved, so they can't do anything with that. Next up, Japanese gunners, so let's see what they can do. So we've got the air gunner from this guy is firing and using help from the chap next to him, so let's just see what we've got. We've got 1, 2 hits, 9 on the critical, but no saves. That is 2 net hits on a robustness of 2. That is actually a critical damage with a 9 as well. That's not very good. That is critical damage, catastrophic structural failure. So this guy is on his way down. He's going to have to bail as well now. Next up, there you go. Bail out. Let's see what happens. We've got 2 here. We've got the British and the Japanese are going to try to bail. Right, so we've got this chap. These guys here, they are needing a 4-up because they're regular. They've bailed out, so they're out of their aircraft at least. Now this one here is obviously dropping very quickly. He's a veteran, so he doesn't get any pluses, so he needs a 4-up as well to get out. No, he doesn't, so he's still in his aircraft at this point. Ketafura, he's doing nothing. I don't really know why I put that card in there, but here we are. Allied Junior Ace bonus, right, he is, well, he's just seen his wingman blow up, so he is going to try to drive for home. So here we have him, John Clark. He is actually going to dive to down to 2, and so that's going to give him a 7, 11, 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, just off. So he has made for home. The Japanese are not going to follow him, not going to tail him. I'm going to make a decision not to. Then we have German air gunners once again. Well, the guy is already tumbling out of the sky, so there's literally no point of firing at him. I'm just not. Is it worthwhile? No, there's probably not much point firing at him. He's already gone. He's a goner. Allied formation bonus. There's a couple of aircraft still in formation, but yeah, I'm just going to try to get them off the table, I think. So I'll do that off camera. It's just going to be some of them making for home. And then the final card this turn is Red Section Fire. Red Section is pretty much gone at this point, so there's nobody they can fire with. Right, what I'm going to do here is I've just two of the British aircraft have left from Red Section. They use the bonus. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually add one more card to the deck. This is the No Fuel to Duel card. This is going to be game end. When this comes up, that's it, game over. Everybody, basically, because we've been running around so much, it is time. Their fuel is out. So that's what I'm thinking. It's just a quick end to the game, because we're at a point now where it's probably going to be a bit of a drudge. So whenever that comes up, game over. Everybody, no matter what, from that point onwards, will begin their return to home. Apart from the remaining couple of bombers, I guess. Who'll carry on to Singapore. But yes, they've all been up in the air for quite a while at this point, so I think we're going to we'll leave it to that. So let's just have a look. First card for this turn then is the Keta 1 move. So we've got a couple of bailouts if we can. Or did they bail out? I can't remember if they bailed out. Yes, they did bail out. So one of them is gone, and the other ones are just going to move forward. So I've removed the aircraft that was crashing, or has crashed, so we'll see how far these go there. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to here. And then the other one is going to come up. Oh, he goes there. This fella is crashing, so he's not going to be able to tail them, unfortunately for him. Then the next card is No Fuel to Duel. Came up second card, brilliant. Okay, so everybody looks at their fuel gauges, or the fighters at least, and they start turning for home. So that's going to end the game there, I think. Right, that ends it. I'll show you how that ended up. Okay, so this is game state at the end of it. We've got the two Bettys, two remaining Bettys on their way off here. We've got that. This is the Hurricane that is currently crashing. He was going to try to bail out again this turn. Whether he did or not is here nor there. We've got number 2, who is also heading home. This is Carl Rowe. He's a veteran. He is heading home. He will be off this turn anyway, if his card came up first or not. Then we've got the Japanese here. Doing all right, but their leader, Mifune, has run out of ammunition. The other two are regular. Would they hang around? Maybe. There is a couple of Hurricanes over here, but as I say, we've got no fuel to duel anymore. These two guys didn't get any action whatsoever. But they will probably notice that pretty much everybody is either buggered off or whatever, and or has exploded, and they will also start heading for home because they just don't have the fuel left anymore. So let's have a look at some of the aircraft sheet, and we can have a tot up of what has actually happened here. So let me just bring this one back down here. These are all the ones that got off the table. So where was this? I'm going to put this one here because he would have crashed anyway. So we lost. Well, I say we lost. They are down 5 Hurricanes. 3 of them got home. That is, but 2 of them were shot down. So we lost this one with a catastrophic structural failure, and then this Sprog who exploded over here. Unfortunately for them. Japanese on this side. They'd still got their 2 Bettys. So they actually lost 4 in total. Well, we'll look at that in a second. Then we've also got the Oscars. They didn't lose a single Oscar. Mifune used up all his ammo. The other guys didn't. Only one of them fired a couple. Then over here, these are the Bettys that got either off table or were destroyed. So we've got one of them got home. Veterans over here, number 4. These guys bailed out. Also did these ones as well, number 3 and 5, they bailed. They were able to get out, so their crew survived. But then it was this one in the Sprog, they crashed and they were all killed in the crash. So they lost 3 Bettys destroyed, 1 Betty sent home damaged, against 2 Hurricanes and 3 sent home as well. So a reasonably fair fight by the end of it. I wasn't sure how it was going to play out with 8 Hurricanes against 9 Japanese aircraft in total. But it was I knew the Hurricanes would probably butcher those Bettys a little bit, and they did, with only 2 of them surviving out of it. I don't know whether they'll continue on with their attack on Singapore, or they may turn, once they see the Hurricanes disappearing off, they may turn for home or they may continue. Who knows? For the Emperor, I guess. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I really did. A bit of a bigger game of Bag the Hun. Lots of fun, lots of action, plenty of shooting and plenty of murder going on in the air. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that subscribe button. You know you want to. Hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of it. And if you want to, share this with your friends and anybody else who might be interested in Second World War wargaming, especially air wargaming. Another great game of Bag the Hun. And I shall see you in the next Storm of Steel video.